Well. It has been a minute since I've posted on here about some Crohn's and autoimmune updates, so it's time. And I want to start off by saying that last year was one of, if not the toughest years of my life. I spoke about this in a previous video, but basically my health really declined last year. And it all started when my insurance company, shout out to Aetna, okay? You guys are fucked, okay? Anyway, it all started when my insurance company decided not to cover a medication that had been working for my Crohn's disease, which I later found out was something that they're not supposed to do. They're not supposed to switch you off of medications if you're doing well on them. And I didn't know that until after the fact, until this all unfolded. And so my insurance in January last year decided not to cover Inflectra anymore, which is what I was originally on. That worked super well for me, and I really miss Inflectra. It's a generic brand of Remicade. And so I got switched to Avsola, which is another generic form of Remicade. But I also later found this out too after I had the severe reaction that I'm going to tell you about. Yes, they're both generics of Remicade, but they're biosimilars, not bioidenticals. So they're not an identical medication, okay? They're similar. And like doctors, especially in Western medicine, will be like, oh, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, which means you can have reactions to some and not to others. So that's really important to note here. If you have Crohn's, IBD, if you have autoimmune and you take an immunosuppressant for it, just remember that these drugs are biosimilars, not bioidenticals, and say that anytime an insurance rep or your insurance or your doctor tries to switch you and tries to say it's the same thing, you can say they're biosimilars, not bioidenticals. So anyway, I didn't know this at the time, okay? That's why I'm posting about all this shit, so that you guys can learn from my experience, and so that no one has to go through what I went through last year. Okay, so they stopped covering Aetna, and I'm gonna keep saying their name because fuck them. Okay. They stopped covering the medication Inflectra that was working for my Crohn's, and so they moved me to Avsola, another generic medication for Remicade. And within 2 weeks of getting my first dose of Avsola, I started to notice like this redness forming on here. And I honestly didn't think anything of it at first. Like, I have dry skin, and I don't know. I just kind of, thought like I was having like a sensitive skin moment, whatever. Okay, yeah, it starts to, the weeks are going by, the 3rd week, the 4th week, and it's getting fucking worse. Like this whole front part of my scalp was like red and peely and patchy. And I didn't fucking know this, but it was psoriasis forming, which is a side effect of Avsola. Okay? So I called my caseworker And I'm like, listen, I don't think I should be taking this medicine. Like, I'm breaking out in this like rash or whatever on my scalp, like. And she goes, which I fucking hate Western medicine. This is like nothing. I hate the doctors. Like, there's very few that I trust. Anyway, and she goes, you know what? I think you should keep going because this is kind of normal. Like, you just have autoimmune disease. And I was like, girl, I have Crohn's. Like, I've never had psoriasis. And also, why is this forming a week or two after getting this dose? Like, dude, I don't know why. I often find myself in these situations where it's like, this is obvious, but people are like, no, listen. And so that's why I'm here literally documenting all of this so they can literally like eat the fucking words that they told me and whatever the fuck. So she wanted me to stay on it, and I was like, no. So I started going to a derm, and so they got me on all these topicals and shit, and it did nothing. It did nothing because that shit was still in my system, Avsola. And so they switched me to Remicade, the brand name, and it just, shit hit the fan, to be honest. The psoriasis was like all over my scalp, and I'll put some pictures in here too. It was all over my fucking scalp. Like, I lost 70% of my hair, and you can, here. Like, my hair was fucking falling out because if you didn't know, like, the scalp sheds when there's inflammation on it, and psoriasis is an inflammatory disease. It's not dandruff. Like, it's not just like, psoriasis is an autoimmune disease. So it's not like I could just like use some Head and Shoulders. Like, no, my scalp was red, peely. It was like a permanent sunburn. And so my hair was fucking falling out. And like, you can kind of see like how thin it is now. But the good news is though, that it's all coming back in. Okay? So this is just, I don't know. This is just, I'm also making this video and this channel to show you how much the body like wants to heal. If you're giving it the proper environment to thrive and heal, it wants to heal. It wants to so bad. Your body does. So my hair is coming back in, and it's because I'm no longer on that medication. My psoriasis is like gone now. But so last year I was on Remicade for like probably like maybe like a dose or two. I only did that one dose of Avsola because after the first one I was like, something's fucking wrong. I'm not taking this anymore. And then I took the brand name Remicade, and I just still, like, my immune system was shot. Like, that medicine change, like, fucking set something off in my immune system. It, like, started like a domino effect, and my health declined all fucking year. Like, it just was like month went by and month went by and month went by, and I was losing more and more hair. My scalp was getting worse. Like, I was starting to get psoriatic arthritis. Like, I never had any of these things. Like, I get arthritis with my Crohn's flares, like my joints will flare, but like psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, I never had any of those things before this fucking medication. And that's why when you see these commercials, like, and they're like, talk to your doctor if you have blah, 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 or shortness of breath and blah, 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 and things start worsening. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. And unfortunately, I had to fight. I had to literally, like, I had to fight them to get something that worked for me. And thankfully, I found a dermatologist that was like, this is not right. And also, thankfully, my primary doctor was actually, shout out to Dr. Keller, was actually the first doctor to be like, you're having a reaction. Like, this is not normal. You don't look like this. Like, this is not, he was like, I've known you for like a year or two, and I know this is not you. And so, one, I'm thankful for doctors like that have a fucking head on their shoulders, because he honestly jump-started the whole thing and was like, this is not right. Like, so he sent me to dermatologists, and I wasn't a huge fan of the first one that I went to. She did help, but I ended up at this one that I really like now, and she's at Nebraska Medicine, and she is like an autoimmune like dermatologist. So I ended up, so I had to, after all of this spiraled, like, and my health was just like consistently declining the whole year, like 2024, like my health was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it was just like this indefinite period of like suffering, which is why it sucked so much. Like, at least with like my initial Crohn's flare up, like that was like 6 or 7 weeks until they got me diagnosed. And like, well, it was in between 6 and 8 weeks before they got me diagnosed and got me on a medicine to control that. So like, this was almost, although like that was like symptom wise really fucking bad because I couldn't walk and I couldn't eat, like this was almost worse just because it lasted so fucking long. And like, I could visibly see how unwell my body was doing, like just month after month after month, looking worse, not getting better. Like, it was terrible. And so finally I got switched to a whole nother drug class. So now I have to take a medication that treats Crohn's and psoriasis, which again, I didn't have before my insurance made me switch. And the crazy thing that I also want to point out about this, because this is like a really big problem in the American healthcare system, is like long-term and sustainable care. They don't focus on that. And so insurance companies will see this cheaper medicine and they'll be like, oh, here, just take this, and thinking that it's going to be the cheaper option. But in the long run, I had to go to so many more appointments. I had to get all these like tests done on my scalp. Like, I had to do all these extra medications. I ended up having to use my insurance more because they wouldn't leave me on the medication that was working. And so they fucking ended up spending more because they saw this like little shiny penny and they were like, oh, this is cheaper, let's go with that. When they should have done the sustainable option, which was keep me on the medication that was working for me. It was already a generic. Like, it was already like a cheaper version. But like, these fucking America is shit, and these fucking like companies will try to just they'll try to profit in any way that they can. So they thought like, yeah, this will be cheaper. No, it ended up being more money for everyone. It ended up being more money for them, for Aetna, and it ended up being more money for me. Like, it was fucking stupid. Like, Western medicine, I'm begging you to focus on sustainability. Insurance companies, I'm begging you to focus on sustainability. Like, we all could have saved, these doctors could have saved time. Like, it's just, the whole thing was unsustainable. I wasted everyone's time. Not like it was a waste, but like I could have avoided all of that if I stayed on the medication that was working for me. I would have had less appointments. I would have had to see less doctors. I would have had to use less medication. Like, I just ended up needing more resources and time because they wouldn't do the sustainable thing. Like, this is America's problem. This is Big Pharma's problem. Like, it's fucked. And so, anyway, here I am now, healthy, a little bit furious, but it's okay because I'm doing better now. And I have a medication that's working for both my Crohn's, it's working for my joints, arthritis, and it's working for my psoriasis, and it is Stelara, which is not in the same drug class as Remicade at all. And I want to like point out that this is a big change when you, and something to note, like when you have an autoimmune disease or you're like on these immunosuppressants and you leave a drug class, like you stop taking those medications and you switch to another drug class, typically, usually, you cannot go back to those medications ever again. So like, that's why they want to make sure like you've tried everything in that class before you leave that class. One, because there's so few medications to treat all of this, especially Crohn's. Like, I mean, there's more coming out now, there's more research being done, but like, I was getting told this a lot, but there's not a lot of tools in the toolbox for Crohn's, meaning there's not a lot of medications for Crohn's. So when you leave a drug class, that's kind of a big deal because you can't ever take that medicine again. And so thankfully, the medicine that I'm on now, Stelara, is working, and I've heard really good things about it. I'm liking it a lot so far. But I want to say that like that thing that I just said about like not being able to take a medicine once you leave that drug class, this is why on my channel I'm trying to teach you guys like how to live sustainably, how to not have to rely on these medications, like how to make choices every day to make sure that you're setting yourself up for a healthy future, so you don't have to worry about like, oh fuck, what will I do if I can't like take that medicine again? Because like, we have to be doing everything that we can in our own life, like without the medication, to make sure we're like setting ourselves and our bodies up for a healthy future. So that's like my whole point in this channel, is sharing my experience with you guys about what I've learned, what I've been through, and also like what needs to be done so you don't have to like desperately rely on these medications, so that you can take your life and your health into your own hands, because that is, people are healing every day by doing that. Like, we can't solely rely on this medication. It's like, it's a freeing concept and it's also a scary concept, but I'm here to navigate it with you, okay? So currently I am on Stelara, okay? And so I give myself a shot in my stomach every 2 months. And before, I was having, like on my other drug class, like the Remicade drug class, I was having to do infusions. So I had to go to the doctor's office every 2 months, and they would give me an IV drip that lasted like 2 hours. Now, kind of a bright side, but they send me like a shot in the mail, and I just give it to myself every 2 months. So far, This medication is going really well. My hair is coming back in, which I am so grateful for, because I honestly like had no idea like if it would come back the way that my hair used to look like. So I'm like literally the poster child for like those reactions and all that shit that they warn you about on the commercials. Yeah, that happened to me. Yes. Okay. And it does happen in real life. So if you're like concerned that that may be happening to you, you need to fucking like shut these doctors down sometimes and like try as hard as you can to find one that will fight for you. Again, thank you, Dr. Keller. But you really, really have to like advocate and like draw a line and be like, I'm not doing this. This is not normal. Like, this is unacceptable. Okay. And so I'm happy to teach you how to do that. And I'm happy to support you through that. Okay, this video has been long, but I just want to say that I'm happy with the medication that I'm currently on. My health seems to be fucking finally improving now. Like, I have almost like no Crohn symptoms. Like, sometimes I get bloating, but honestly, like, I'll take some minor bloating over like insane hair loss. Okay, so Crohn's, joints, skin is good. So here we are, and that is my update. So sorry that I've been MIA, but I plan on posting a video weekly now. Trying to get back into the group of things, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do it on Thursdays. So like I'll have my posts be on Thursdays. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on this healing journey, and please share this with someone who you know maybe takes immunosuppressants, has autoimmune disease or chronic illness, just to like raise awareness. And also I want to build a community of people healing from this shit. So I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching.